What defines a hero? Likewise, what defines a villain? An anti-hero? At the core of these labels lies a person earnestly fighting for their own form of self-righteousness that their opposition sees as wicked. Such is the story of Full Metal Daemon Muramasa, or its native title Sokoaki Muramasa. A visual novel by NitroPlus taking place in an alternate history where the tyrannical nation of Yamato lies in the center of potential global conflict. Running the army, what would be normal foot soldiers, are Musha who pilot suits of armor called Tsurugi. However, throughout the land, what could only be described as a phenomena in Musha form frequently burns villages and its people to the ground. Enter Minato Kageyaki, a lone Musha determined to stop this incarnation of madness, though, in doing so, is forced to bring his upstanding morals into contention. While a respectable, overly formal and honest to a fault man who earnestly wants to do good, his position is what some would see as the hero, but in reality is not one to be desired. It is simply a role the world has given him, a role that brings his beliefs, emotions, and actions into conflict. This path will and has brought endless quantities of grief, guilt, and suffering. But no matter the pain ahead, he is set to finish what he started. It's through his journey to defeat the Silver Star Ginseigo that not only broaches the deeper meaning of the strings of fate he is tied to, but seeing how the will and values of others can either bolster that understanding or cause him to drift into emptiness. The many stops Kageyaki takes along his quest leads him to meet many individuals who make an impact on him, whether it's through their character or helpfulness to his mission. Each route, of which there are 3 in total, uses multiple perspectives to explore a certain ideology, diving deep to show that no matter one's outlook, there will always be flaws within, detailing the inevitable conflict that comes with upholding one and the emptiness that is brought when there is a lack of challenge. Ayane Ichijo's route features a girl who embodies the ideal hero, fighting purely for the sake of justice, rallying like-minded individuals to prevail in the face of evil. Otori Kanai tells a tale of vengeance and the extremes of enacting revenge. Then there is Muramasa, Ginseigo, and the multitude of antagonists that all contribute to this ideological theming. It's this idea that everyone has a specific duty in their own individual path, that as they walk, their ways are broached and challenged, giving insight on the character themselves, asking the reason they follow this road. Was it taught, something they were forced into, or just simply their nature? It's through this that they become better understood. A character you expected to root for can seem clouded in hypocrisy and ignorance. One who at first deserves nothing but unbridled hatred and scorn turns out to be one who can be pitied. The story never portrays one as wholly good, likewise never portrays one as wholly evil. In the end, it shows that we are all just human, following what we believe is right, yet also shows the fault when one is completely blinded by their own narrow-minded agenda. This all ties back to Kageyaki himself, who walks in between the lines of good and evil. His character is one I found to be the most intriguing throughout the entire story. He is one in constant self-loathing for his blood-soaked hands, yet, despite his circumstances, stares reality in the face, taking it on as if everything was his choice. He has his own set of morals and deep reasoning for them, although the fact they cannot be upheld plagues his conscience. Human nature, feelings, desires, and the path they walk take center stage of the narrative, ripened and set on full display as the world is on the verge of war. There's clearly a lot of thought that went into this world's history and how it influences the current setting. Scattered throughout the text are small pieces of the world that slowly form a larger picture over time, culminating to the current day where the nation of Yamato is on the brink of war from many sides. Like the history up to this point, the narrative does well to showcase the current political climate, with many factions at play plotting to gain an advantage. It is impressive to see both wartime battle strategies and politics talked about so meticulously, while coinciding with the main character's journey. It is no doubt a major gear that is required to move Muramasa's story, with an exorbitant amount of depth put into it. However, does have a tendency to drone on for just a bit too long, sometimes appearing in the middle of an emotionally driven moment that breaks the flow where only 1 or 2 paragraphs would suffice. It's one of those things that if you are into large-scale narratives with many moving parts, this can be a factor of great intrigue. But personally, I just found some scenes of exposition to be a slog to go through. Similarly, the panoply of fights can go on for up to an hour, yet doesn't feel like so. The clashes that occur find the perfect balance of both substance and spectacle. Even encased in suits of armor that are granted supernatural powers and the ability to take flight, the samurai influence, tactics and all remain strong. Many paragraphs are dedicated to depicting fighting styles, strategies, innate advantages or disadvantages, weaponry, physique, and even go so far as to detail how mentally draining these types of encounters can be, as with just one wrong interpretation of the enemy, their life is gone. At its core, tells a dark, grim story, however, is not always 100% serious. Unexpectedly, comedy is a huge part that serves to lighten the mood on various occasions. The characters' personalities clash, connect, and play off of each other in ways that can provoke laughs numerous times when it's least expected. There's a good mix of subtle to exaggerated humor that is drenched in hilarity through each voice actor's delivery, although it can overstay its welcome, creating conflicting tones that sever immersion. There were times I was invested in Kageyaki's mindset, just to be taken out of it for a gag or two. It's more so a minor complaint, but occurred one too many times. Full Metal Daemon Muramasa broaches the philosophy of how everyone has their own law to abide by. But no matter what you see as right or wrong, there will be others who scorn, leading to inevitable conflict. Overall, this is a visual novel I would highly recommend for those that are looking for a deep and intricate story that places equal emphasis on its characters and the ever-changing world they are a part of. Or if you would like a story where you can sit and ponder over its thought-provoking themes of morality, this too is Muramasa's strong suit. Now that I've finished it myself, I can say it certainly lives up to the hype I've heard about it since the translation released. It is a brilliant work that no doubt deserves its praise. However, for me, this is a story where my appreciation heavily outweighed my enjoyment. What each character represented and how they brought these stories' themes to light was what made me ecstatic. But the build-up in many areas made it difficult to advance. I will admit though, that it was mostly just expectation on my part. I thought the story was going to be just solely Kageyaki's journey, so when it strayed away from him to focus on other elements, I momentarily lost interest. Though I'm sure once I read it again in a year's time, I'll enjoy it twice or even thrice as much, now knowing exactly what I'm getting into. Hopefully this overview on some of the main ideas that caught my eye will intrigue you to give it a chance. There are also plenty of other topics this VN covers I would love to talk about more in depth sometime in the future. And with that, I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Later.